with it, according to sources, scheduled to come to an end this week, basically this Friday. A lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but I'm sure a lot of, well, actually, a lot of people, I'm pretty sure a lot of longtime fans had their have had mixed reactions about this new incarnation. I mean, don't get me wrong. Watching a few episodes here and there, and I have to say it's decent. I mean, it's definitely a different direction. I mean, I talked about this before and on my channel, and again, to me, I think it's definitely, it's like I said, it's decent. It's unique, and it's definitely a unique, different direction to take the show and take the franchise and take the characters. Don't get me wrong about that. I mean, you always need a little bit of a shake-up, a little bit of a kick in the butt. I mean, take a look what they're doing with the Sonic comic right now in some ways with certain characters. You kind of get what I'm saying. But, yeah, from what I've seen, I think it's okay. But, even though I believe it's a decent show and it's a unique direction to take the characters, I think, in all honesty, that I think, in all honesty, if they were going to do something like this, that I would have preferred maybe a more live action approach. I know that sounds crazy, if not more of a primed, and if it has to be animated, more of a prime time kind of approach. Because you can rate the series TVY 7 or whatever rating it's given in whatever country. But to me, some of the stories and some of the, continuations and stuff within the story arc, let's face it, can go right over the head of a 7-year-old. I'm not lying. But yeah, I think, in all honesty, if I would have done a show like this, kind of a revamp, a reshaking, if you will, of the characters and stuff like that, that I would have, all honesty, folks, in all honesty, I would have basically done a live action, if not more of a prime time kind of deal with the show, because again, you're taking this show in a unique, different direction than you have any other Scooby franchise. Now, I know people will say, well, if you take a look at some of the DC stuff they have, you want to say the same thing? Yeah, well, here's the difference about some of the DC stuff they have. Young Justice, I believe, Green Lantern, I believe both of those have had the PG rating, along with the Clone Wars by Star Wars. Had a PG rating. Even the Looney Tunes show had a PG rating. And this has TVY 7. No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't have TVY 7. It should have more of that PG rating. And just like the Looney Tunes show, I think, in all honesty, it should have been put on prime time because of, like I say, the tone it has. And, here's another thing, too. As decent and as unique of a direction to take the franchise in with Mystery Incorporated, I think, honestly, just throwing this out there, but I think, honestly, I would have given them a schedule similar to what they had given the Looney Tunes show when they brought that out originally, and along with other shows as well. I mean, you're essentially, if you think about it, with the Looney Tunes show when it originally started and several other shows, you're essentially only airing it like once or twice a week. And that's 1 or 2, maybe 4 episodes a week. Well, not four episodes. But like I said, 1 or 2 episodes a week on a certain time slot. Or maybe 1 episode a week. And you notice that even though some people have a mixed reaction about that show, there's more embracing of it because yeah, it is the Looney Tunes, but it wasn't always right day after day, right after the other. It was like they took their time. They let people wait for the following week or the following night to see what was going to happen, and then after those two episodes or after that episode or those episodes back to back on those two nights, on those back to back nights, they would wait to the next week to bring out the next episode or next two episodes, if you will. And to me, I really think they could have done that with Mystery Incorporated because apparently, from what I saw, there's about 33 something chapters or something like that. I mean, I believe that's what it is, about 33 something chapters. And and again, the way some of the tones are presented in it, you would say, well, you might say to yourself, well, yeah, it could be prime time, but they'd be going up against all these other competitions and all that. And yeah, that's true. That is true. But still, I think it would have benefited at best if it had a schedule, like I see, similar to what the Looney Tunes show had when it started, and other shows had when they started. Because the potential's there. I mean, the potential to be a good show is there. I mean, you just watch some of the episodes and you kind of get what I'm saying. So the potential is there. And, I'll give them credit. I'll give them credit. I mean, essentially, and I know I'm saying that a lot, but essentially almost 2 months later, you're bringing out the fourth volume, if you will, the fourth volume in the entire series. You're basically going to they're basically completing, from what it sounds like, the entire series in June on DVD and Blu-ray, which I think is pretty cool. Well, gives people like myself a chance to go out, rent the movies through Netflix, or buy the not the movies, but rent the series through Netflix, or buy the series at places like Walmart and catch up on it when we can. Not always have to wonder about on demand and when the next episode's going to be. But again, I honestly think, it could have really benefited a lot more from either being live action or being put into prime time with a PG rating, and given the schedule that other shows, like I say, Looney Tunes show had, and other shows that came after it and before it had, to always like one or two episodes, one on each night, like 2 episodes a week, like one on, let's say, a Tuesday night and one on a Wednesday night, and then, or 2 back to back on the same night, and then just wait till the following week and do it again. And I think also what could have benefited from this as well is you have all this on demand service. I think honestly, they basically, because this is not just what Scooby do either. This is something that a lot of, not just Cartoon Network, but a lot of networks need to work on. Some have it right off the bat. It's like 24 hours later you could see it. But honestly, networks like Cartoon Network and several others out there, they need to take a page out of those other networks' examples and put the episode on the day after, so that even if they don't see the episode the following night, they can catch up with it along with other episodes that came out previously. They can catch up with it that next day and sort of find out what's going on, kind of get an idea of what's going on. And I can understand also why they've chosen this week, according to what Wikipedia and several sources have indicated, as to be the week of the finale. Because in majority of a lot of places, it's spring break now. It's spring break, resurrection break, Easter break, whatever you want to call it. And it gives a lot of kids, teenagers, young adults that are fans of Scooby-Doo, that have heard people talk about Mystery Incorporated, the Mystery Incorporated show. It gives them a chance to probably kick back, catch up on what's going on, and then, probably get ready for the finale on Friday. So, And I'm not going to be surprised. I think they already got this plan that they're going to do some marathon or something like that. And if not, I'd be totally surprised. It just ended just like a regular episode. But to me, I can understand why they're doing this. And I think it's great strategy because obviously they know in several parts of the country, if not the world, like I said, there's spring break, there's Easter break, whatever you want to call it, resurrection break occurring. So it helps people kind of catch up with what's going on with the characters in the show. And again, I won't be surprised if they do a marathon or something of some sorts for leading up to the finale. But if they don't, then that's okay. I can totally understand that. But again, it's from what I've seen, it's very decent, very unique, decent show. It's a unique direction to take the franchise and the characters, and it has the potential to go down as probably one of the most popular Scooby-Doo shows of all time. I mean, or one of the most talked about, I should say. Not popular, but one of the most talked about, if not controversial ones of all time. Because, let's be honest, there have been people that have had mixed reactions about it, felt that it's not, I mean, heck, when it first came out, and I'm not sure if this still stays true, but you had a lot of fans saying that this was not Scooby-Doo. That, yeah, it was Scooby-Doo, yeah, it was Shaggy, yeah, it was Daphne, yeah, it was Velma, yeah, it was Fred, but this was not the real Mystery Inc. gang. This was not Mystery Incorporated. And true, they gave credit where credit was due. I mean, there was one episode where they kind of had Scooby have a dream sequence, and everything was basically drawn in the classic style, and you had all these these other teen mystery teams, if you will, at this convention, and you had all these other mascot characters like Jabba Jaw, Speed Buggy, I think Inch Private Eye or something like that. I mean, the list goes on. And then later on, they did the whole thing with Blue Falcon, So, and that was, of course, in the newer style. But again, they will give nods and, credit to that, to things like that. But overall, it's, overall, it's mostly the fact that there's always going to be a bit of a mixed reaction, a bit, if not criticism, if not a bit of controversy surrounding this show. Because, again, even though it is the characters, it's not the characters that not a lot of fans knew and grew up with. That it's more, that basically the way they look at it, and I kind of look at it the same way, but I'm not trying to bash it or anything. Again, like I said, I think it's a decent show in a unique direction to take the franchise. But a lot of fans will honestly come out and say, look, basically what you've done here is you've taken 2 seasons worth, or an entire series of Scooby-Doo, an entire Scooby-Doo series, and chopped it up as if it's some kind of junior teen novel, some kind of teenage novel or junior novel or something like that. And it's not meant to be that way. Hey, it's meant to be comedic. It's funny, very cartoony, if you will. And again, they'll give nods to certain elements and stuff that they've done, but again, the thing is, it's going to be kind of in that category that when this series does come to an end this week, apparently, people are going to say, it was all right, but it was not the Scooby-Doo we know. It was not the Scooby-Doo we know, and I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers and in the Hanna-Barbera division, I'm sure they're listening to all the criticism. I'm pretty sure they're going like, this was a good experiment, but maybe we should stick to what brought this franchise to the dance. Maybe we ought to just go back to more of the comedic route. Because when you take a look at something like What's New Scooby-Doo, What's New Scooby-Doo is essentially almost a continuation of Where Are You Scooby-Doo? And the reason a lot of fans embrace that